Never had any spooks happen to me, but this is definitely /x/ related. Let me tell you about my half-sister's fiancé, let's call him Alan. First formally met Alan at Thanksgiving dinner, maybe 3 or 4 years ago. Looks like your typical schizo type, greasy hair, rail thin, high raspy voice, wears a trench coat and fingerless gloves. Massive conspiracy theorist. Tells everyone about chemtrails, reptilians, greys. Conventional stuff, really. He also said that World War III would be fought on WoW. Didn't care to elaborate on that. Didn't see Alan again until Halloween the year after. For some reason, my brother and I decide that it would be fun to stay at my half-sister's apartment. She rented out the basement in the old family house. Naturally, Alan was there. My brother and I feigned interest and belief in the things he was saying. Actually, the interest was real, but we didn't believe a word of it. Apparently trusting us now, he divulged some truths. He tells us he is a 7th degree Freemason, maybe higher, I don't really remember, and that he was personally recruited by one of the nation's highest ranking Masons. He tells us that he's a wizard and that he and my half-sister have made contact with the mothership, and that when shit goes down they'll be accepted onto the ship. The whole time he's talking, he's stuttering and tapping his feet, occasionally getting up and pacing, back and forth. Then he gets weird. Tells a story from years back. He has been wandering the country for years after leaving his abusive family home, and had wound up in the maritime provinces, yes, Amleaf. He managed to get a girlfriend and a job at a grocery store. The manager there was a creep. Would constantly stare at his girlfriend, catcall her, tap her ass. Real scumbag, if you care to believe what he says. He tries his best to look dangerous, and explain to us that he rarely ever used dark magic, but this was an exception. Trying hard not to laugh at him. Tells us how one day he'd had enough, and junkie shuffled his way back to his apartment, which he shared with multiple people. Everyone nopes out of the apartment once he walks in because he had the look in his eyes. The wizard's look. He takes his girlfriend's lipstick, and starts scrawling symbols in the bathroom mirror. Takes his athame, which he carries 24/7, to cut the veil, and then performs a summoning. Chants a few magic words, and then he says that fucking skeletons jitterbugged out the mirror and flew out of the house. He's dead fucking serious. I can barely keep a straight face. But where did the skeletal conga line go? Into his manager's fucking dreams, apparently. He tells us that, for several nights, the skeletons infested the man's dreams, and caused nightmares of them romping his daughter and calling him an asshole. How does he know what his manager dreamed? The skeletons told him. Alan lets this go on for a few more days, and then confronts his manager, telling him what he's done. His manager promises to stop creeping on his girlfriend if only he'll call off the bony bunch. He wipes off the symbols on the mirror, and recalls the skeletons. Needless to say, Halloween was weird, but Alan kept us entertained the whole time. A few notes about Alan. He and my half-sister order light bulbs off of Amazon that are filled with some unknown powder. They break these bulbs, and snort what's inside. Apparently, it's some sort of psychedelic. Alan draws hentai. In crayon. It's fucking horrible, childlike drawing of Sailor Moon getting reamed. He has a whole sketchbook filled with those. It would be another few months before I would hear about Alan again. Consider what comes next: a cautionary tale about snorting mystery powders. It's summer, last year. My brother has been staying at my grandparents' so he can closer to uni. He tells me they've had a visitor. Alan's mind had completely snapped, and he lost all touch with reality. He could walk where directed, and repeat a few simple words. He was very fond of saying helicopter. He also lost control of his bowels, and had been blasting constant ass for several days. My half-sister, being a junkie herself and bipolar, took several days to do anything about this. Somehow, and for some reason, she took Alan up to my grandparents' house, and dumped him there. My nana is Christian, and accepting of all peoples of all types. My papa is an 80-year-old native man who fucking hates drug addicts. Naturally, he didn't stay long, and after a few days, my papa drives him back to my half-sisters. Alan's condition has not improved. My papa loves country, it's all that he listens to. Alan is capable of recognizing certain patterns, and repeating words that he associates with those patterns. Alan recognizes country. The constant movement of the car has awoken the beat of his bowels. He begins to shout, very loudly.
Yeehaw, ride cowboy.
And shitting himself profusely. He slaps his knees to the beat of Johnny Cash and shits himself with every strum of the guitar. My papa is furious, and begins yelling as well, a tirade against the failures of modern society, and perversions of the addict. My brother is riding shotgun, and was a first-hand witness to all of this. The shitting, yelling, and country cliches last all the way back to the apartment. Whilst my brother was recounting what happened, I realized I had actually met Alan several years earlier than that fateful Thanksgiving. My dad and I were at a small plaza in town, getting pizza. While waiting for the food to be done, I decided to check out a hawk shop that was on the same strip. I find an old copy of HL2, and decide to purchase it. There's a surprisingly long line, and the man in front of me is around 6 feet 3 inches. He turns around and looks at me. He has long, greasy hair, pale blue eyes, several missing teeth, and is wearing a trench coat despite the 27 degrees Celsius heat. Behind me, on a shelf, is a copy of World of Warcraft, Cataclysm.
Have you played WoW?
He asks me, in a high, raspy voice. Around his neck is a hemp necklace with a pentagram hanging off it. No. I say. He then proceeds to talk to me about World of Warcraft, a game I have never played, for the entire duration my wait in line. He only stopped after I had made my purchase.
Okay, see ya, man.
Yeah, see ya. I walk back to my dad's truck. He has 2 large pizzas in the back seat. I tell him about the man I met in the hawk shop.
Hair. Crackheads.
He says, and we both laugh. A twist of fate, an act of God, or just one more meaningless coincidence. I could never have known that I actually would see that man again. For, obviously, he was Alan. Alan has been doing much better lately. He's on methadone, and has regained control over what's left of his mind. One more thing. At some point, I found myself stuck at my half-sister's for several hours. Alan decided to recount his whole, tragic life. Again. I'd heard it all before and I've told all the interesting bits above, but I couldn't find a place to add this one detail. It's very short. He told me again how he prefers not to use his powers for evil. This time, he had a different story. All he said was that he had once summoned dark energy to cause a pedophile to die in a car crash. He didn't elaborate, and I didn't ask him to.